Natasha Jonas versus Mikaela Mayer, 10 rounds for Jonas's IBF women's welterweight title that she won last year. This is going to be a very good matchup. I really think this is a 50-50 matchup in a fight that could go either way. We'll see how it goes, though, on the night, but you know how we do it, man. Let's get into it. Let's start with the champ, Natasha Jonas. 14 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 9 wins by way of knockout. Jonas fought once last year against Candy Wyatt, which we'll get into very quickly here. It hasn't been too long since her loss to Katie Taylor back in 2021, right? She moved down in weight to fight Katie Taylor. She's been talking about the rematches throughout those years leading up to now, and probably a fight that we're probably not going to see anytime soon. You know, she's probably not going to get that rematch, but after that fight, you know, she suffered that loss. Then she moved back up in weight, junior middleweight, and became a champion after defeating Chris Numis, I believe it was, where she got the stoppage in 2 rounds. She would go on to beat the Swedish fighter. I don't remember her first name, but her last name is Bergholt. Then in that same year, she would fight the Canadian Marie-Eve Decaire in 2022. She had a great year in 2022 before moving up to welterweight, right? One of the question marks that we have, obviously, we know the older that you get, your body may not respond as well as it did in previous years before. She's 39 years old now. She's young in age, right? But inside of the boxing world, inside the boxing ring, it can leave some questions because you just never know how your body is going to maneuver and respond on the night. So that's something to keep in mind. I believe that she has many years of great fights left in her, but it's something to keep in mind as we're talking about the whole entirety of Natasha Jonas. In her most recent fight, she fought my fellow Canadian, Candy Wyatt. Simply put, Wyatt didn't have an answer for Jonas on the night. You know, Natasha Jonas brings pressure. She's a risk taker, right? She's got power in her shots. She throws a mean left hand. Her technique is solid. She's a good, solid, sound fighter. To me, you know, there are times when she can be a little bit predictable, but I don't mean that in no bad way per se. Sometimes, you know, just because you know what could be coming or what's going to come doesn't mean that you can stop it. Against Candy Wyatt, it was clear that she was using one hand to lure her in and the other hand to pop it right down the middle and get that left hand going. And Candy Wyatt just didn't, she just couldn't figure it out. Right? She just couldn't have, she didn't have anything, a way to really stop it. And so to me, I think Natasha Jonas does a lot of really basic things really, really well. And again, I don't mean basic in a negative way per se, right? As we say in track and field, fundamentals is everything. As we say in boxing, skills pay the bills. So I don't mean any way in the sense of basic being a bad thing, basic in the sense of she does the basic things that you learn at the beginning very, very well. And she uses that to her advantage. She uses her jab well, uses her reach well, uses her footwork well. She just does a lot of things really well. And against Candy Wyatt, man, she could do whatever she wanted, man. She baited Wyatt into reacting, and then she just responded, right? She was using feints. She was using her footwork laterally, moving, hitting to the body, using the jab to the head and jab to the body. She just came through with a really solid game plan. And Candy Wyatt just did not have an answer. And she capitalized off Wyatt's defensive mistakes, right? She was landing cleanly, moving beautifully in the ring, and she was accurate, and she had really good timing. Exceptional timing, I will add. And you mix that with the type of power that she has in her shots. Candy Wyatt was getting beat up bad, man. And so that's why, to me, when the ref stopped the fight, you know, she just went to her corner and she knew, you know, it is what it is. It was a good stoppage. I was getting beat up. It was a good stoppage. Even at 39, Jonas is still a problem, right? She's confident. She knows what she can do. I thought she looked very good in that fight. She handled everything well. She made good adjustments. Everything was strong. It looked snappy. She looked light on her feet. The movement looked good, and she packs a punch. So Natasha Jonas, man, is not a fighter that you can take for granted, man. Not to mention she is at home in this fight. Home crowd advantage always feels good because you know you got the crowd behind you. you hear the crowd screaming every time you hit a clean shot, and it just rejuvenates you and gives you that extra energy. And I believe that will actually give her a little extra push to help her through the fight and to help her give her extra life in the fight. But again, Jonas, even at 39, as I said, she has a few more good fights left in her to me. So I hope Mikaela Mayer is ready for all of the full package of Natasha Jonas. Let's talk about her opponent, Mikaela Mayer. 19 wins, 1 loss, 5 wins by way of knockout. She fought twice last year. It's great. She won them both by decision. So she's been active, staying active. She moved up after her fight with Alicia Baumgardner. That's probably the best because I don't think she's going to get that rematch anytime soon. I don't think Baumgardner is going to give her that rematch. There's other great fights that is for her in other divisions. So I like the fact that she is moving forward. I probably would have done the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So this fight is at 147 pounds. Mayer has fought at 154 pounds years back. So moving up and down for her isn't exactly a new thing. She's done it before. She's getting a little bit older. She's 33 now. So the body reacts a little bit differently than it would be when you're in your 20s, right? So we'll see how she handles that. But her last fight was at 140. So we'll see how she moves and how she's able to, the speed, the agility, the quickness with that 7 added extra pounds moving into the welterweight division. In her most recent fight, she fought Sylvia Bortat at 140 pounds. I thought she boxed very well. Mayer always has a good jab, right? She has good size, good length. She knows how to use that to her advantage. She pushes that jab through, moved around the ring very well. She can also fight from in close as well, too, right? She had a great back and forth in a brawling type of fight against Maeva Hamadouche, right? Who's someone who can punch. Right? Hamadouche has 18 wins by way of knockout. So Jonas has power. Baumgardner had power. Hamadouche has power. So Mayer is not, she's used to fighting people with power. She's got that experience, right? So she knows how to handle herself when she's facing someone who can punch. I also think she's got a pretty good chin as well. And she's someone where she'll take that risk. We saw against Alicia Baumgardner how she started out very slow, the first 3-4 rounds. And then she, a fighter always knows when they're losing on the cards. And you could see she was able to have that switch and bring up the pressure, turn up the tempo, let her hands go a little bit more. So she has good IQ inside of the ring. She'll know how to maneuver and make the adjustments that's needed. So it'll be interesting to see how well she starts or how slow she starts, right? She's generally more times than not like the bigger fighter, the taller fighter. Right. And I think she goes to the body very well. She puts together good combinations. She's got good solid technique. She's got good footwork. Right. There's a lot to like about Mikaela Mayer. When she fought Bortat, I felt like when they got into the ring and she felt Bortat's power, she was not intimidated by it. So therefore, she adjusted certain things and she kind of just stood right there in the pocket. Right? She didn't really use her footwork too much. She felt the power, wasn't intimidated by the power. So she stood there, mid-distance range, stood in the pocket, and was just hitting what was right in front of her, man. She could have completely kept at a distance and outboxed Bortat, but I like some of the work that she was doing on the inside, man. Her combinations, her targets, she was targeting the body, targeting the head, and wasn't trying to headhunt. Mikaela Mayer has decent power, but she's not a big puncher. But that doesn't mean these shots can't add up over time, right? So I like what she does, man. She throws punches in bunches. She's not afraid to let her hands go. Against Bortat, she threw punches in different variations and was having success when she was doing it. Her shot selection against Bortat was very well placed and it was accurate. I thought Bortat put up a decent little fight, but it wasn't anything to really give Mikaela Mayer a hard time or to make her weary. It was a solid performance from Mikaela Mayer, but I also thought that, she's usually someone who is light on her feet, right? And sometimes in that fight, she looked a little flat-footed, a little slow in her movements, and that's kind of somewhat to be expected when you're moving up a new division as you're still trying to get acclimated to everything, so it's going to be interesting to see what she moves like with that added 7 pounds, so I'm wondering again what that'll make her move like, make her look like. But up top, I mean, she got hand speed, she got decent power, she puts together good combinations, but, the head movement, the being able to evade different shots, will the weight make her a little bit slower? You don't want to be stationary against Natasha Jonas because she's got that type of power where you can't just take that round to round to round to round and keep coming forward and not move your head off the line. So going to be interesting to see who's going to make the better adjustments, who's going to take the risk if need be, who's going to be the one to press the pace, who's going to be the one, if it gets to a brawl, to stand in there and not back down. It's a championship fight. I'm expecting a championship performance from both women at their best. So who wins? So Jonas is at home, right there in the UK, as I mentioned earlier, right? She's only fought in the UK, but she's also lost in the UK. I think she's better now than when she lost a couple years back. Right? She has a lot of momentum coming into this one. She's got power, got skill, got style to make it tough on Mikaela Mayer. I don't even know who the favorite is. I'm assuming the favorite would be Natasha Jonas since she is the champion and she is at home and she's more accustomed to this weight. And she's a southpaw too, and we know how tricky southpaws can be. And she can use that left hand to her advantage. I think Mayer is balanced across the board. She can go, to me, wherever the fight goes. Is it going to be a brawl? She's strong enough, tough enough, durable enough, skillful enough to stand and trade. Or is it going to be a boxing match? She is good enough, skilled enough, smart enough to keep that mid-distance box on the outside and be effective on the outside. She's a good boxer. She's a good balance of both. She's going to have to be disciplined, though. She's going to have to throw some big shots of her own to gain the respect of Natasha Jonas, though, right? I think there's going to be a time where both women are going to have to take calculated risks. I think Mikaela Mayer is going to need to be a volume puncher in this one, right? To just slow down some of that movement and some of the offensive weaponry that Natasha Jonas has. So I think volume is going to be something that will benefit Mikaela Mayer, something that she's used to and accustomed to doing. She can't also walk into this fight with her chin high as she did against Bertat. Jonas will make her pay if that's what she does. I don't believe that's what she'll do, but we'll see, obviously. So this is a very good fight, and this could be a fight of the year candidate, especially on the women's side. This is a fight where it could go either way. Jonas is at home. She's probably the favorite. I'm leaning towards Mikaela Mayer to win this fight in a very close fight. I'm talking about 51-49 type of lean. It's a slight lean. I think Mayer will use her jab a little bit better. I think she will throw more punches than Jonas will. And I think just the extra punches, the extra aggression, I think she will be able to steal those close rounds and get enough to get the nod on the cards. I think this fight goes the full 10 rounds. I think it's a close fight. I think Mikaela Mayer wins this fight by some type of split decision, majority decision. I don't see it being a unanimous decision for either women, whoever is going to win. But I like Mikaela Mayer to come into the UK and cause an upset and come away the new champion. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel. It will be greatly, greatly appreciated. Shout out to everybody that continues to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, man. I appreciate each of you with love. Shout out to all the members holding down the membership section. I appreciate each of you. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.